Welcome in, everyone. I hope you guys are doing great wherever you're watching from today. We have some major movements in Ukraine, Ukrainian black ops attempting to pull off multiple different operations, including a helicopter insertion into Russian-held territory, as well as a strike deep inside Russia. The situation I told you is going to continue to cook off and get worse and worse. We are going to see much more escalation before we see de-escalation. And the latest moves, which also include the scrambling of more NATO aircraft against Russian forces, continues. We've got a lot to go through here, and this is all happening with the backdrop of it appears President Donald Trump is going to be sending cruise missiles to Ukraine. How will that change the dynamics on the battlefield? We're going to get into all of that and much more. Before we do, as always, please make sure to like and subscribe. Huge boost to the channel. Totally free, cost you nothing. Comment with your thoughts below. What do you think about the situation? How do you think it ends? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that notifications bell. All notifications turned on. You won't miss a thing. Right here, Instagram, David_Hookstead, X, D Hookstead. That's where you can find me on social media. My DMs are open. Send me any tips you got. I got to warn you, my voice is a little messed up. I don't know if I'm a little under the weather here or what is going on. Hopefully, I'm not getting sick. So bear with me. I'm going to do the best I can. If you guys aren't going to miss an episode, I'm certainly not going to miss bringing you one. Now, let's get into it. We have watched steady steps up the escalation ladder between Ukraine and Russia for months now. When President Donald Trump first returned to office, what did he want? What did he say he wanted to get done? He said he wanted to get a peace deal done, some kind of deal to end the dying, end the killing. Let's bring an end to all the carnage and chaos. Well, unfortunately, the death, carnage, and chaos is not even close to being over. So now the United States of America, under President Donald Trump and his administration, have taken a very different approach. And the approach they are taking now is, let's ramp this situation up. Let's try to inflict some pain on the Russian government and hope that they then come to the table, clear mind, ready to negotiate, and then we can kind of restart this. Russia has responded to that with all these different weapon tests, horrific attacks on Ukraine, escalations, and like I've predicted for weeks, this situation will continue to get worse and worse and worse. And now Ukraine, I'm going to throw this up on the screen for you. Ukraine has launched a gutsy black ops operation to rescue forces that are encircled, essentially. Throw this on the screen. This comes from Reuters. It says Ukraine lands special forces in embattled Pokrovsk, sources say. It says operation overseen by military spy chief, sources say. Open source map says half the city is contested. Video shows military dismounting from helicopters. It says Ukraine landed special forces to fight in embattled parts of the eastern city of Pokrovsk earlier this week. And if, guys, I'm doing my best to pronounce this, let me actually see if I can. So is it, how do we do this? Is it Pokrovsk? I think or Pukrovsk. Is it Pukrovsk? Either way, guys, I'm doing my best. If you know how to pronounce it, I guess they're saying it's Pukrovsk or Pokrovsk. So we'll go with that. If you guys know, let me know in the comments below. I don't mean to insult or offend anyone. I'm doing my best. I don't speak Russian, even though I did briefly take it in college. It says the operation shows how Ukraine is battling to stabilize the situation in the strategically important city after scores of Russian troops breached its perimeter this month. Russia's capture of Pukrovsk, an important road and rail hub, could enable further advances into the eastern Donetsk region, which Russia aims to fully occupy. Moscow's military has been inching forward in Pukrovsk for over a year. The Ukrainian special forces landed in a Black Hawk helicopter a few days ago in the operation, which was complicated by Russian drone activity, a source in the 7th Rapid Response Corps said. Now, there are a lot of rumors about what happened to the special operations. I don't want to opine on those. I will talk about it when I show you the video, and I will just tell you what is being said on both sides. It might be a bit of a tragic situation, but we are just going to dig into what we know. It says spy chief oversees operation. The operation was overseen by military spy chief Kylo Budanov, and the troops headed to the areas of the city claimed by Russia and seen by Moscow as vital for Ukrainian supply lines, the other sources said. At least 10 service members could be seen dismounting from a helicopter in a field in a video seen by Reuters. The news agency could not independently confirm the location or date when the video was filmed. Russia's defense ministry did not immediately respond to requests for comment about the operation. At least 200 Russian troops have penetrated the city's defenses and made it inside, the Ukrainian military said. Kiev's army chief acknowledged on Thursday that the situation was difficult, saying supply lines and defenses in the area needed to be bolstered. So essentially what is happening here is Pukrovsk, a vital city that the Ukrainians are trying to hold, has been breached by the Russians and has been encircled by the Russians, and Ukraine cannot let the city fall. So in an attempt to break the siege, if you will, probably not the best word to describe what's going on, they landed 10 commandos, which would be the equivalent. They're not the same as Delta Force or even SEAL Team 6. They might be similar to a hybrid of the Green Berets and Army Rangers. The GRU would maybe be the best way. They come in 2 helicopters behind enemy lines, behind Russian lines. They land in an attempt to break the siege, and we actually have video of this. So undated footage recently released by Ukraine's main director of intelligence showing American-made UH-68 Blackhawks being used for insertion of special forces behind enemy lines near Pukrovsk in eastern Ukraine. So let's watch this footage. So you can see one helicopter. I'll pause it. You can see one helicopter right here. And then you can see the thermal imaging right here of the commandos, the Ukrainian commandos on the ground. So you can see them moving in. You can see more commandos. I'll pause again. Top of the screen. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All 10 commandos are accounted for. You can see them splitting off into 2 groups, both headed in the same general direction. You can see some gunfire that just ripped there through the air. So I'll rewind it. We'll watch it again. So we're zooming in. We've got 1 Black Hawk, multiple commandos. You can see their guns up on the move. It's paused here. That's not me pausing it. That's the military feed. Helicopter departs. There you see the gunfire come in. And these commandos are attempting to breach the Russian siege. Now, there are reports out there that all 10 Ukrainian commandos were killed, that they were killed by drones, hunted by Russian drones. We do not have proof whether or not that is true. So I don't want to bring you guys information that may not at this time be confirmed, but the Russians are saying all 10 commandos were killed in drone strikes. Again, not me saying it. That's what they're saying. We do not know. What I find a little fascinating about this is you would never see United States commandos operate in a situation like this. Number one, you would never see America forces cut off and surrounded like this in a modern battlefield because we have the ability to make sure that never happens. But if you're going to insert commandos, the United States anyways would insert a hell of a lot more than just 10 of them. And we would bring a hell of a lot of air power. We would bring probably, you'd probably bring half a damn squadron of Delta Force or SEAL Team 6. So the fate of these men is unknown. We do not know what happened to them, but we know they were inserted, just 10 guys to try to break this Russian siege. We've seen reports that it ended in total disaster. I hope that's not true, but we don't know. At the same time this was happening, Ukraine launched a massive attack on Russia. You can see the map of where all the drone strikes are going. So the red arrows are where all the drone strikes are heading inside Russia to hit energy infrastructure, military bases, staging areas, things of that. So Ukraine, with United States assistance, with United States intelligence, continues to smash and chip away at targets inside Russia, deep inside Russia, to inflict as much pain as they possibly can on Putin's regime in order to bring them back to the negotiating table. And we have this as well. So it says yesterday, Ukraine's GUR, sorry, not GRU, GUR, which again is like their kind of hybrid commando spy unit, whatever you want to call it, successfully conducted a major sabotage operation in Moscow, successfully blowing up the main gasoline, diesel, fuel, and aviation fuel pipelines for Russia's capital. See here the charges placed on the pipeline detonate. So let's go ahead and watch this video. This is Ukrainian commandos pulling off a major sabotage mission inside of Russia. Let's watch it. Hold on, I got to mute this music. Otherwise, I'm probably going to get in old trouble from YouTube. So you see a massive fireball. Huge fireball. And then right here, this is continuing to happen. I'm going to throw this up on the screen. For the third time this week, NATO forces have had to scramble aircraft to go confront Russian spy planes. So we had two earlier in the week. Now this one comes from Friday. I'm filming this on November 1st. It says MiG-29As with the Polish Air Force were scrambled for the third time in the last week, earlier today from the 22nd Tactical Air Base, in order to intercept a Russian 20M Kut-A, I think it's an Ilyushin 20, electronic surveillance aircraft, which was flying in international airspace without a filed flight plan and with its transponder turned off over the Baltic Sea near Poland's airspace. So for the third time this week, NATO aircraft, NATO fighter jets have had to scramble in order to confront and stop Russian aircraft. Secret Russian spy planes over the Baltic seas spying on NATO territory. The Polish are like, get our planes up in the air, get that Russian spy plane the hell out of there. They are doing everything they can to put their foot on the neck of the Russian spy apparatus, and that means making sure Russian spy planes can't get near. Now, we talked about this in a video released earlier on November 1st. I released this the morning of November 1st, but just for those of you who might not have seen it, it says this comes from CNN. The Pentagon has given the White House the green light to provide Ukraine with long-range Tomahawk missiles after assessing it would not negatively impact U.S. stockpiles, leaving the final political decision in President Donald Trump's hands, according to 3 U.S. and European officials familiar with the matter. Trump said earlier this month during a working lunch with the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House, they would rather not provide the missiles to Ukraine because we don't want to be giving away things we need to protect our country. The Joint Staff informed the White House of its assessment earlier this month, just before Trump met with Zelensky, who had been pushing for the missiles to more effectively target oil and energy facilities deep inside Russia. Tomahawks have a range of around 1,000 miles. The assessment buoyed U.S. European allies who believe that the U.S. now has fewer excuses to not provide the missiles to, officials said. So initially, Trump was weighing providing the missiles. Then he decided against sending them because he was worried it would deplete U.S. stockpiles. But now Trump has flipped that, and Trump is now making the decision that after the audit from the Pentagon, that the United States feels that we can now send the missiles, and Trump will likely send the cruise missiles to Ukraine, which then will be used to carry out devastating strikes deep inside Russia. So that's where we're at on that front. Let me pull this off the screen. So we've got Ukrainian black ops that are dropping deep behind enemy lines in Provokskok, or however you pronounce it, trying to break the siege of the encircled Ukrainian troops. They are sabotaging pipelines deep inside Russia. They are carrying out drone attacks deep inside Russia. We have NATO scrambling its planes yet again against Russia. And we have President Trump nearing the final decision to give cruise missiles to Ukraine. So all of this is adding up yet again to more signs that we are going to enter an inevitable situation where escalation continues. There's more dying. There's more death. For all we know, the Ukrainian commandos could have been wiped out. There are reports of that. I want to make crystal clear because I'm sure you guys are going to see those reports. I do not know if that's true. I do not know if that's true, but that is what the reporting out there says. So keep that in mind. That's where we are at. This situation is rapidly developing by the minute, by the day. Both sides trying to land knockout blows on the other one, but that is where we are at. So I will continue to bring you updates as I have them, but I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think of the situation? Please make sure to like and subscribe. Hit that bell, all notifications turned on. You won't miss a thing. And then right here, Instagram, David_Hookstead, X, D Hookstead. That's where you can find me on social media. My DMs are wide open. Reach out with any tips you have. I'll see you all next time.